We're all looking at the same thing. Thank you for joining us for another perspective from the Sag Nasty If Anybody Asks Me podcast. Don't forget to hit that like button and leave a comment. For more videos, please subscribe to the channel. Or don't. Just sit back, say nothing, do nothing, and watch as we bare our souls to you. We got it from here. Sag Nasty.
I would tell her to cut herself some slack, that every shitty thing that happened when you were little wasn't all your fault. Half of it wasn't any of your fault. Because if you end up carrying it with you, you're gonna have a shitty 20 years.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so I had that needle ready to kind of just being over it, and I thought I had shut the bathroom door, but I didn't, and my dog had poked. Can you see him over there?
Yep.
He poked his head in the bathroom, and like, I don't know if you're a dog. You might not be a dog person, so this is probably gonna sound so weird.
No,
but
I
the
gotta
way
tell
his
you,
eyes
greyhounds.
looked at me. Okay,
Yeah.
yes, you do.
Mm-hmm.
The way he looked at me with his eyes, he was like, "Mom, please don't do this. Please stay with me. We'll figure something out." And like, I threw it down. I called my mom and I said, "You need to come get me. I gotta come down to Detroit and get like real help."
Wow.
So I entered a facility for 30 days down here, and going on my 5th year of sobriety.
Congratulations, but geez.
Yeah.
What
but
a
geez.
journey. I can see
Yeah.
that picture on Facebook at some point of you smiling away in a nurse's like uniform. I can see that. And that's kind of like the last image until today that I see now. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, one thing comes to mind. Well, actually, I won't say it yet because that will get in the way of what you say. So I'm not going to say that yet. But so much comes to mind because a lot of what you said is really speaking to me. Wow, you kind of covered everything. I want to go to the end, actually, not the end, but getting closer to the end. So when you look back on those 20 plus years since, actually way more than 20 years, I want to go back to 3rd grade.
Yeah.
What do you tell that little girl? What would you tell her?
Oh, man. This is a hard one.
Because it's before the dysfunction starts even.
Yeah. I would
imagine
tell her,
instead of me walking into that 3rd grade class with Miss Imers, it's you right now walking in there.
Right. Oh, man. Like what adult Chrissy right now would tell her? I would tell her to cut herself some slack, that every shitty thing that happened when you were little wasn't all your fault. Half of it wasn't any of your fault. Because if you end up carrying it with you, you're going to have a shitty 20 years.
Ooh. Wow. There's a book I read, and it actually was Brad. It came up in Brad's talk too, but a different part of the book is really related to you. And there's this, I don't know how to describe it very fast, but there's it's a moment in the book where it talks about the copper child. And this is very bad. Copper, as you know, is a transfer, a conduit. So like electricity runs through copper. So when children are copper, the pain of the parents go into the children. They transfer it. And when they don't have anywhere to transfer it to productively, they just hold it in. So when you experience this shame, which it's very traumatic what you had to deal with the father, a very important role, because if you look at father, that's a huge theme in your life because of medicine, going through being a nurse. Obviously that was inspired by your father. Basically as a nurse, you would be working alongside of him, right?
Absolutely. And he was such a big person at Covenant at the time. He was part of like the redesign team. Everybody knew him. So he was embarrassed because now
Yeah, but
everybody knows you're
no, but
this.
like as you're thinking to be a nurse, you would be working
Yeah,
right alongside of him.
side
So
by
it's like
side
you
with my
were
dad.
following the father the whole time.
Absolutely.
But when you talk about taking something intravenous, you got a big shot of shame right into the vein.
Uh-huh. That's a great way to put it.
Mm-hmm. You OD'd on shame.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And that's tough for biologically for anyone to handle. It's not about you. It's not something that you can feel guilty about. It's biological, right? No
Yeah.
one can handle that level of dosage of shame right into the vein.
Right. Very
It's
true.
gonna transform someone drastically, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very interesting because it just really, it's like I said, like with the podcast, I'm creating this mural, and
Yeah.
everyone's story is part of the mural, and you get to see a bigger picture as you just put each tile and each piece into it. And I really see the way that there's some of us who cope and some of us who don't, some of us who know how to cope and some of us who don't. And it's related to race, which is interesting because a lot of Black people have to deal with this. What do I do with my shame? Like, people don't understand when you see like George Floyd like getting smashed on the ground like that. That makes me feel ashamed. And then you can't talk about it because they say you're crying about things and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
imagine
Yeah.
that dosage so much higher, like what you had to go through. It's actually worse than having to deal with racism, which is crazy to me. It's way worse because it's way more potent of a medicine that you took right into the vein. I didn't take it into the vein. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I smoked it. I don't know. Maybe I drank it or something. It actually, probably it's like
Right.
an
Right.
elixir. It's more like alcohol or something like that. But for you, it's like uncut, raw, shame
Yeah.
that you had
Yeah.
to take, especially back then. Like, what's gay really at that age? And
Yeah.
suddenly
I
it's
didn't
right in
know.
your family,
Yeah.
right in your
Right in my
face.
face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that was hard because we had a hard time with it. So he disappeared.
And then he's gone. I don't
He's
know what the
gone.
heck that was. And now where's my dad?
Yeah.
And
Where's my
now who's
dad? And
this new guy?
who's this rotten guy that's brought into my
Yeah.
life that is awful and stayed there for so long.
And then stayed there. There's no like break. Like it was
Yeah.
almost like a dream. And
Yeah.
now you wake up into a nightmare. Of course, you want
Yeah.
to find some way to leave the nightmare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And it's
absolutely.
funny. And you go back to sixth grade and you said how mean kids can be. It's like you really got introduced to a cruel world. And it's so sad.
Yeah. That's what I feel too. Like when I was looking at the pictures of being like the polka dots, I felt sad. I felt sad because I just would like to go back to that time, like you said, and say to that little girl, like, okay, when you get to this moment, do this, make this decision, or find this. Don't do the same decisions I did. And I think that's just a shame. I mean, I'm sober, but that doesn't change the fact that, I work a job now that I love, but does it pay what a nurse pays? No. Do I have a lot? No. You live paycheck to paycheck. I have my mom living with me. She's a lot older. So then you have someone else to take care of. It's just like, yeah, it's like, it just doesn't really ever get easier.
I feel it.
I don't know.
And I'm in a completely different place. It doesn't feel like it gets
Yeah.
easier. Mm-hmm.
No, like I thought when I would get sober or as I got older, things would get easier. But I've realized, damn, being an adult at 40 is hard. Like you still run into, unless you have millions of dollars or something, it's hard. I feel like, especially if you're someone that lives paycheck to paycheck per se, because
Mm-hmm.
everything's so expensive now. And it's just it's scary living knowing that, oh, if I have an emergency, I can't pay my light bill or something. Like, that's where I start to get down on myself. But then I realized I have it a lot better than a lot of people do, because a lot of people are sleeping under a bridge.
You have it better. You've seen it.
I've seen it.
You're living better than you used to live better. Living better than you used to live. Yeah.
Yep.
You already know.
My mom was saying, oh man, it's so sad that we don't have enough money to get this fixed to the house or such and such.
Mm-hmm.
I say, you know, Mom, at least we have a house. We have heat, you know, the heat, food, enough way to cook. I've met people, I see them all the time when I have to go to like therapy. They don't have it. They have it better than a lot of people. And that's one thing I learned with being sober.
And that's the other theme that I saw with everyone, especially with Mercy and Taria, is this strange, nauseating grace. It could be so much worse. Like, the dog might not have walked into the bathroom at that moment. Like, what is this weird force like holding us up still? When easily, as you know, it's so hard. It's so easy, to just be done with it all. But there's this strange force that just keeps holding us, like, hold on to hope. And you hit 40, it's like, this ain't easier. Hold on to hope. Yeah. Keep fighting. Fight the good fight. And it's like, why? And then
why?
Yeah.
For what reason?
Yeah, you say it better than me. Exactly. And then you just look at the dog and he smiles at you. I have this beautiful greyhound that's really helping my life. But
oh man.
It's so interesting, this theme of grace. Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah. I know that you're really close.
Yeah, they're lifesavers. And that's something that has been a big positive for me in my recovery, is volunteering at the shelters. Now I get to work at, I got a job at one.
I saw that picture like within the last 24 hours of those dogs. It reminded me of my greyhounds with the ears.
Yeah. Those are the puppies. Yeah, those puppies are at the rescue where I work at.
Yeah.
And you know, I have my 6-year-old, my lifesaver, but then I also have a 5-month-old.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and a 10-month-old around here somewhere. So they make my life better. You know, I obviously never got married. I never had children, so they're my children. As weird as that may be, they're my babies.
We lost 2 children, me and my wife, and the greyhound helped a lot.
Sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, we're still trying, but the greyhound helped a lot. It's not like we got a greyhound to like replace it, but we needed to like bring some life into our
something.
House. Yeah, right. And you can see how they just live in the moment, you know, like
yes. And they
you have those moments like, why? You're like, the way you said it, I loved it. It's like, why? And then you look at the dog, they're like, let's go. And it's like, really? You're like, yep,
or when you're having like that awful day when you're like hating yourself, you're like, God, you know,
the dog loves you.
And he's like, I love you so much. Let me lick your face. And I'm like, see, you care.
Unconditional.
I'm not bad. Yeah, I'm not awful. My dog loves me.
Yeah, exactly. That's the greyhound. My greyhound's a punk. Every day a punk, and it's like, geez, you just love to live life, don't you?
Yeah, they do. That's awesome.